let's discuss the topic of modulo multiplicative inverse. So this is a solution to our property that a by b mod of m is not equals to a mod of m divided by b mod of m, whole mod of m. They are not equal. So we want to find out, let's say, a by b mod of m, then how can I find it out? Isn't it? How can I find it out? So let's see simple examples for you to just understand what is a multiplicative inverse. So the thing is, if I have to write a by b, then I can say that, can I not write b to the power of -1? This is called an inverse of b. Okay, this is called inverse of b. Okay. Now, let me tell you something like this. Let's say we have to calculate 10 by 5. Then can we say that 10 multiplied by multiplicative inverse? Modulo multiplicative inverse is called MMI in short. But then I will write it in full. Let's say multiplicative inverse, I'll call it MI. So multiplicative inverse of 5. If you multiply multiplicative inverse of 5 to 10, you will get the result of 10 by 5. In this case, it is simple that I will multiplicative inverse of 5 is what? 1 by 5, or I can say it is 5 to the power of -1, which will be equals to 10 into 0.2, which will be equals to 2, right? This is multiplicative inverse of a given number, given integer value. Is it fine? Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay. But here there was no modulo. If you apply modulo on this multiplicative inverse, it is called modulo multiplicative inverse. Okay, otherwise it is called multiplicative inverse. So simple thing, I mean, this is easy to understand. We just have to go through it once. Okay. Now, if I ask you about writing a by b mod of m, okay, right? And let's say that the modulo inverse of b can be represented as x. What is modulo inverse of b? It is 1 by b mod of m, simply. If you can represent 1 by b mod of m equals to, let's say, x. Let's say it is x. Then I can write it as a into x mod of m. If my assumption is this, then I can write like this. Okay. And if you have found the modulo multiplicative inverse of this b as x, then now the property, distributive property will hold true. Why not? This will hold true. There is no problem now. Now this is true. But you have to find this multiplicative inverse, right? So our goal is to change this division symbol to a multiplication symbol. You cannot play with 10 to the power 9 plus 7 modulo or any modulo and keep division symbol. You will think it will give correct answer, but it will not give correct answer. It is not designed to work with division. Okay. So I have to always, when you see a division and when you see a modulo of 10 to the power 9 plus 7 or some high large prime number modulo, then you open your mind and think about MMI. Right? Otherwise you cannot pass all the test cases. Okay. So let's see. What is a modulo multiplicative inverse, by the way? I did not give you any example. So if I say that 5 to the power of -1 is a multiplicative inverse of 5, then it means that multiplying this should be equals to 1. Isn't it? Simple. This you must be knowing. If modulo comes in, then what happens is, with a modulo of some value m, even a small value and the large value can collide at the same point. Like, what if I say that m plus 1 modulo m, it will be 1, and also 2m plus 1 modulo m, it will also be 1. But they both numbers are different. Initial numbers were different, right? Okay, when we do not use modulo, then two unique numbers will be unique, like multiplicative inverse. But when I use modulo, then two unique numbers will no more be unique, right? That is the difference when you take modulo. These collisions create complexity. Okay. So the definition of modulo multiplicative inverse for any number n is if you can find a number x in such a way that this is equivalent to 1 mod of p, where p was the modulo function that you had used. Here m was the function that I had used, 10 to the power 9 plus 7. So this p is that 10 to the power 9 plus 7, the prime number that you are using. Why did I give this congruent sign and not equality sign? Because you know that the numbers can be different and still come out to be the same mod value. So it will seem similar. They are mapping to the same value, but they can be two different values. So for such kind of like, how do you say equivalence of similarity of triangles? They can be of different sizes, but if their angles are same, they are similar. But are they exactly equal? They are not equal. Then their length will also have to be same, not just the angle, right? Isn't it? So m plus 1 and 2m plus 1 is similar when you take mod of m, because they are mapping to the same mod value, right? So in this case, for normal case, leaving out modulo, if I define what will be the multiplicative, if I assume multiplicative inverse of n is x, then it will be equal to 1. That is what I gave for 5 into 5 inverse, right? That is what I gave with 5 into 5 inverse. Now in this case, if I have to assume that now it will be a mod function, then this will change to congruent relationship with what is the mod function. That is the difference between a normal multiplicative inverse and the modulo multiplicative inverse. Is that clear? You can rewatch this video. I think you have to rewatch, right? Definitely. So nobody has not rewatched this video. I know. So anyway, whatever you get out, you ask me right now. So if I have to ask you, now I'll give you some work. Okay. Let me see if you can find the modulo multiplicative inverse. So if I have to ask you modulo multiplicative inverse of 5 under modulo 7 is what? Can you define a number? Under modulo 7 means this is the p value. Modulo multiplicative inverse of means this is the a value. Can you find that x value in such a way that a multiplied by x is congruent to 1 mod of p, where I give a equals to 5 and p equals to 7. Can you find this value of x? There can be multiple values of x, right?
0.2.
0.2. Give me some integer number. This mod can be shifted to the left side also. Okay. I can write it as a into x mod of p is congruent to 1. You can also write like that. Okay. Just a hint that you can have multiple values of x now. Whenever the remainder can be 1, that is a value, right? You can have one value as 3. 5 into 3 is 15. 15 mod of 7 is 1. Right? But I'm not just saying it 3 is the only answer. There can be many answers where the remainder is 1, right? Many values can map to this 1. Why not? If you have 4, can you map? So 4 would be 5 into 4, 20. So it will give remainder 6. 5? No, it will give
No,
remainder 4. 6?
no, no.
It will give remainder 2. So like this, you can keep on checking, right?
Mhm.
Right. So 3 is one possible value. So I'll say that 3 is the MMI of 5 under modulo P is equals to 3. 3 is one possible answer. Or you can say modulo multiplicative inverse of 5 under P under modulo 7 is equals to 3. Okay. So did we learn like how to find modulo multiplicative inverse? Right? Now, can you calculate this by not your normal process, but by using modulo multiplicative inverse? What should I write in the next step? I want to find What do I want to find? I want to convert this division to multiplication. So what should be the number shift? What do you want to find?
Modulo multiplicative inverse of 2 under 5.
Yeah, you want to find
Yeah.
MMI of 2 under modulo 5. So this is your A value. This is your P value. What will be the value of X? Where A into X mod of P will be equals to 1. What will be that value? You know it. It is a very small number.
3.
Yeah, 3, right? 3 into 2 is 6. 6 mod of 5 is 1. Right? So 3. So I can write it as 6 into 3 mod of 5. Now I can apply the distributive property very simply. Why I'm always applying the distributive property, and why not just multiply it? Because they may be very large number and may be overflowing, right? So it is always safer to apply distributive property. Now this will be 6, right? So okay, 6 mod of 5 is what? 6 mod of 5 is what? 1. So I'm reducing that number. You see, if you multiply 6 with 3, you will get to 18. But now you will never reach to 18. Do you think you will reach to 18? Because if you multiply 6 with 3, what you will get? 18 mod of 5. And that will map to 3. But my final answer is 3. So why are we expanding this to 18? If we can reduce this expansion, then I will get less chance of overflowing. So that's why I applied the distributive property before doing multiplication. And here I will be doing 6 mod of 5 is 1, multiplied by 3 mod of 5 is 3. And now mod of 5. So this will be 3 mod of 5, which is 3. So you see, what is the largest number I saw till the point? 3 and 6, nothing else. But if I had just multiplied it, I would have expanded to 18 and then come back to 3. So why should I expand? All these techniques we are doing to avoid overflow, and also to take care of overflows and all these kind of division to multiplication scenarios and all these things, right? So that is why we will apply distributive property. I think the MMI is clear, right? Okay. But knowing MMI is not enough. We have to do the next topic of this. Okay. So do all the next question is, do all the numbers have modulo multiplicative inverse? No. All the numbers do not have MMI. Okay. They're the two numbers for which you are finding the MMI. Let's say you are finding MMI of A under P. It will always be possible if A and P are coprimes. That means the GCD of A comma P is equals to 1. Then only it will be possible. Otherwise, it will never be possible to find MMI. If I give A equals to 12 and P equals to 6, you cannot have MMI here. But the question in interview will always contain A and P as coprime. So you don't have to worry about this. But I'm just telling you that MMI is not always possible. Sometimes you may get stuck finding MMI, you will not be able to find it. GCD of these two will be 1. They should be coprimes. P may not be prime, A may not be prime, but together they are coprimes. Why not? This can happen. Okay. Okay. But how to calculate this MMI? There is an algorithm to calculate this MMI. So there are two algorithms. So first algorithm is by using Fermat's little theorem. And the second algorithm is by using extended Euclidean algorithm. We are yet to do the Euclidean algorithm. This is the next part of Euclidean, which is extended Euclidean, but we will be looking at the Fermat's little theorem. This we will not do. Okay. So let's understand this. Again, the proof of algorithm is not required. That will be too much. It will be a total maths class, but we will try to avoid this. According to Fermat's little theorem, you can write a to the power of m minus 1 will be congruent to 1 mod of m. There is a proof for this, but you don't need to do that. Okay. Again, this proof which I'm showing is also not required. Nobody is going to ask it. Only the last formula is required for you. Okay. Fine. So this proof, what I'm showing is just for your understanding. I will tell you exactly what you need to remember. The previous thing also, whatever I explained, this all thing, nobody is going to ask you all these things. But these all things are important for you to build up an understanding. Otherwise, I will say do this m to the power of n minus 2, then you will think why? Then you will be just remembering the things, right? So now at least you have a video to look back, right? Okay. If this is too much for you, at least remember one formula at the end. Otherwise, if you want to go through the proof, I am already providing the proof right from the beginning, right? Okay. So in this case, this is true given, you know, A and M should be coprime. You know that, right? I just told you A comma M GCD should be equals to 1. That means A comma M should be coprime. Fine. Coprime does not mean they both have to be prime. You can check it out. You can check out the exact definition. Now, what can I do is I can multiply both sides with the same number, divide, or whatever operation I do. If I do on both the sides, then it will be not getting affected. The final answer will not get affected. Let's multiply by a to the power of minus 1. So this will become a to the power of minus 2 congruent to a to the power of minus 1 mod of m. Is that clear? And I said that mod you can move on both the sides, whichever side you want. So I can calculate a to the power minus 1 will be congruent to a to the power of m minus 2 mod of m. Simple. Simple. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to remember. That the MMI of any given number a under modulo p is equals to a to the power of p minus 2. Simply a to the power of p minus 2 you need to calculate. That is the MMI. Did you guys understand what is the MMI?
Yeah.
But then how to find this MMI? How to find this a to the power of p minus 2, right? This is also a big concern for me, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I have derived everything till the point that when you want to find MMI of a under p, if one of them is prime, then definitely they both have to be co-prime if they are not equal numbers, right? Isn't it? And if you are already given 10 to the power 9 plus 7 as prime, then you don't have to worry about if they are co-prime. They will definitely be co-prime only, right? Unless you hit a number 1. Otherwise, they will be co-prime. Okay, that thing is done. So if you want to find MMI of A under modulo P, just find A to the power of P minus 2. And you are done.
If you are someone who is preparing for top product based company interview, then we have brought for you live interview training program based on data structures and algorithms, system design and AI for SDE. This will make sure that you cover all the requirements for data structures and algorithms, be it online assessment or the face to face rounds. We will be doing live practice on coding as well as discuss the assignments. We also have a self paced number theory course which you can take for difficult online assessment and face to face interview preparation, like googlemedia.net and Code Nation. And for system design, we will be discussing the distributed design along with components, HLD, LLD. LLD is a self-paced course here, and we will be discussing everything keeping the AI aspect of design in mind. That is how AI agents will come into our design and how to develop AI features in the pre-existing design. This will definitely give you an edge in the current AI era. And then we have AI for SDE 6 months live training program where you will be getting to build a LLM right from scratch. Along with that, we will understand the entire pipeline of agentic AI. And this is not just a theoretical course. We will definitely be doing hands-on for each of the concept that we learn on Python using Jupyter Notebook or Google Colab. If you do not know Python, then definitely we will be learning it on the go. To know more about this training program, you can WhatsApp us on this given number or visit our website techdose.co.in.